Joining us right now is former Mississippi governor, former RNC chairman, and the founding partner of BGR Group, Haley Barbour. Good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Hey, Maria. Thank you for having me again.
So happy to see you. Let's pick it up where Blake left off with the China story. We are seeing a deal possibly happen on trade, but what about those other structural issues? What kind of enforcement policy does the U.S. need to put in place to make sure that they don't make commitments, make promises to stop stealing IP and stop forcing the transfer of technology and actually stick to it?
Well, of course, there will have to be some ways to guarantee behavior. Look, the Chinese joined the WTO, I think, in 2001. They've cheated ever since. And two administrations, a Republican administration and a Democratic administration, chose to not try to do anything about it.
Wow.
This administration takes the position, and I think rightly, and I'm a free trader, that if we don't do something now, pretty soon we won't be able to do anything. Their economy is predicted by some to be as large as ours in 2025. We've got some advantages right now that mean we can put real pressure on them, and that's showing. So I hope that this is successful. I think it's in everybody's interest, including the Chinese.
Yeah.
If they would abide by the rules, do what they say they're going to do. But you're right. President Reagan, my old boss, used to say, trust but verify.
That's right.
There has to be some mechanism.
Well, we'll see what they come up with. But I'm with you. This is a huge story. We're covering it every day deeply. Meanwhile, let me bring you back to the U.S., Governor, because House Democrats are attempting to reintroduce a bill that was shot down 2 years ago. They're calling it the Wall Street Tax Act of 2019. Oregon Congressman Peter DeFazio pioneering the bill with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's his co-sponsor. This bill promises to discourage high-frequency trading. They say it will bring in $777 billion in revenue in the next 10 years, according to the Joint Committee on Taxation. Your thoughts on what's happening?
Well, the problem in America is not that we tax too little, it's that we spend too much. And the Democrats never met a tax they didn't like. And here's another way to try to go into the private economy and take money away from the private economy and give it to the government. I mean, their idea is all money belongs to the government, and the government lets you keep some of it, and you ought to be grateful that they don't take all of it. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I don't think the Senate will pass this, but it is typical of the Democrats. Almost everything that they talk about has got a big, big price tag and a big, big tax increase attached to it.
Governor, it's Dagan McDowell, but they're also trying to pull the wool over your average person's eyes, meaning that they talk about taxing. We're just going to tax the rich. We're just going to tax Wall Street. We're going to have the high-frequency trading tax. When these plans that have been announced by these left-leaning Democrats really will involve, whether it's the Green Dream or Medicare for All, it's going to involve taxing everybody in this country, including lower-income Americans, to their eyeballs in a way that is devastating to lower-income Americans, that is truly regressive in many ways.
Well, when you get into something like this and so much money that people have that is actually invested in funds, invested in things that are not personal trading, that a lot of that trading in these big funds is done in this way. They move money, and the slightest little uptick, downtick can have a very big effect if you're investing hundreds of millions of dollars. So I think you're right that a lot of people who never dreamed this affects them, actually of the way that they invest, which is a smart way to invest if you're not an expert. But they're going to get caught in this, and their money is going to be some of the money that gets taken in new taxes.
Governor Brian Brenberg here. You know, the Tax Reform Act that we passed recently was intended in large part to bring capital back to the United States. When you talk about this high-frequency trading tax, what you're really doing now is you're actually encouraging capital to flee the country again. I mean, are you concerned that if we continue to see this move left, that you'll actually see businesses kind of about face, and they'll say the United States just isn't the place to do business because we punish investment, we punish the rewards of investment?
Brian, you know better than I, but capital money goes to where it's the most welcome. And if we become a country that takes a whack through taxation or through regulation at every form of investment, everything that attracts capital to America, and we are the most attractive country in the world for capital, but we won't be if we keep chewing away at it like this.
Hey, Governor, Lindsey Bell here. Just a question. What do you make of this AOC being a key supporter or the one presenting a lot of these outlandish bills? Is it the Democratic Party pointing to her, using her marketability and her huge Twitter base, or is it them making her the villain because they are raising taxes? What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, I think you have to assume the people that are agreeing with her actually really agree with her. And she wants to move the Democrat Party as far to the left as she possibly can. And there seems to be a real market for that, not only in the grassroots, but among elected Democrats, among the people that rush to be for Medicare for all, that rush to the Green New Plan, that rush to wealth taxes, to rush to any tax anybody can dream of. And, of course, she has proposed a plan that is so unbelievably expensive.
Yeah.
And then she never met a tax she didn't like.
Well, it's more than it's just expensive. It doesn't make any sense. We're not going to get rid of fossil fuels within 10 years. And by the way, we haven't spoken about this at all. 2 political action committees founded by Representative Ocasio-Cortez, her top aide, funneled over $1 million in political donations into 2 of his own private companies. I know she's dealing with this today. Allegedly, this is reported by the Washington Examiner. The cash transfers from the PACs overseen by her aide, the freshman Socialist Democrat's chief of staff. It certainly runs counter to everything she's talking about in terms of increasing transparency.
She's going to be under a great deal more scrutiny. You have the New York Post doing an expose about how much she spent, or how many like Uber and Lyft rides that she took during her campaign. She's going to say, "Oh, you're attacking me because I'm a woman." Expect that. But again, if you're going to be the star of the party and be a superstar on Instagram, then you can expect this kind of scrutiny.
Of course.